This is the Patriots Drive Podcast.
We are all Patriots.
Where we discuss, analyze, and answer questions to all things happening in the NFL and with our New England Patriots. Now, here's your host, Cole Kelly.
Let's go!
Welcome into another edition of the Patriots Drive Podcast. Patriots win big at home in the red throwback unis. We're going to have to keep throwing those things on. But they beat the Lions 29-0. Great performance. Defense really held their own. They came up big in certain spots, and we'll dive into the details here in a minute. But if you guys haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Helps us grow. Let your friends know about this if you guys enjoy watching the content we put out here. And again, I'm gonna plug the video that Jace worked on the other day. Mac Jones film. Mac is still out, so if you guys want to see some breakdown of how he did the first 3 weeks and kind of some of the ups and downs he had and some of the things to have some hope about, then go check that video out. I'll pin that in the comments of this video. And but I'm here with my co-host Jace Campbell. How's it going, Jace?
Honestly, I think they should keep the red jerseys permanently. Just make them a permanent jersey.
I said probably 20 different times, and I think my girlfriend wanted to kill me by the end of the game. I was like, these things with that white helmets, they are incredible. They were amazing. I feel like we're going to go look at the blues and the whites after this the rest of the season, except that one Buffalo game. We're going to be like, meh, like it stinks that only 2 games out of the year we're going to get to see these. I know it's not a huge deal to some people, but it's so aesthetically pleasing watching the Reds in the throwback in the field with the Patriot logo on there. I mean, it was awesome. I wish that was our home uniforms, and then they would switch up the white and the blue on the road or something like that, just to keep it fresh. But the unis were awesome.
It's probably more of a thing for us right now because we haven't had them in forever. But like first reaction, way better than what I would ever have thought. Like I knew they were going to be fire and awesome, but seeing them on the players, seeing them on the field, seeing the pictures afterwards, like they looked so good, and it was well worth the wait to see them come back. And like you said, I wish we got to see them more than 2 times this year. Maybe if we make a playoff push and we get a home game, we can throw them on for the playoffs. But I hope that they're planning on having those or something else in stock for the upcoming seasons too, because those jerseys were something else. So I'm excited for the next game they get to wear them too. But
yeah, I am as well. It stinks that the next game we wear them, I think, is in Buffalo on the road. I believe. Maybe it's at home, but I know it's against Buffalo. I'm positive about that. So that's going to be a tough one. Hopefully they can work a little bit of the red jersey magic and pull something off in that game as well. But this is a good one. This is a fun game to watch. Super entertaining. I mean, we'll kind of hop into it just in a second, but defensively, there was a lot of outstanding performances. Offensively, there was a lot of people that made some plays and did some great things. We got some people involved that haven't been involved early in the season. It was all around just a great team win, and special teams chipped in there as well. There's not really many complaints from this football game. I know Detroit is one of the best. They were the number 1 scoring offense in the NFL coming into this game, which sounds not right, but I know they had some injuries. DeAndre Swift was out. Amon-Ra St. Brown was on a snap count. He was limited a little bit there, but they have a legit offensive line. Jamal Williams has done great with the carries he's gotten for Detroit this year, and the Patriots held their own in kind of all aspects of this game and created turnovers, won the turnover battle. That's a huge thing that we harp on every week. They did what they needed to do, and Bailey Zappi did what he needed to do as well. So we'll get into that in a minute, but I guess just what were kind of your initial thoughts of this game and how you felt about the quality of the game, even though the opponent, we know who they are. They're Detroit. But overall, they held this offense to 0 points, the number 1 scoring offense in the NFL. The stats are what they are, and that's what they said, that Detroit was number 1 in the NFL.
Yeah, initial thoughts on the game. Obviously, everyone's excited that New England won. This was a huge game for them. Without Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, very impressive for me. A lot of guys were impressive, and we talked about this before, that there's probably not going to be too many guys on the bad list. There's a couple things on the bad list still, but initial reactions for me is just like, this is a tough game to play against an offense that was really clicking, and yes, they were missing people, but they come into Foxborough, you go in, your defense balls out. Like, this is a classic Patriots defensive game. Jack Jones was doing his stuff again. Matt Judon showed out. You had Mac Wilson, Raekwon McMillan making plays all over the field. Kyle Duggar. I mean, you just had guys everywhere making play after play after play. And that's what we've been saying this Patriots team needs to do. And that defense needs to keep that intensity up when they play some of the better teams. That will be a little bit closer, but this is a great win for the Patriots fans. And there's a couple things that we'll get into, maybe nitpick a little that New England needs to improve on. But initial reaction, you can't be mad. No one's going to be mad and complain about a shutout victory at home, 29-0 against the number one offense in the league as of right now. That was averaging 35 points a game. No one's going to complain about that. So excited to see the Patriots come out and have this game. Definitely the best game they had played up to this point. And, you hope that some of these individual performances carry into the next couple weeks and you keep this thing rolling, especially when Mac Jones gets back.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the exciting thing is that Mac Jones wasn't here. We had our third string quarterback start the game. He did what he needed to do. And like Mike here says, proud of the coaches and the players today. I mean, this was a great game plan, great win against I would say inferior opponent, but both teams were 1-3. So you can't really, it's tough to say that. I guess you'd say, let me try to find this tweet real quick. It was about the starting quarterbacks for the Patriots when they're backups. I believe it was 5-0 in the past decade. Yeah, I'll find it in a minute. But basically, Belichick and this coaching staff in general for the Patriots has done a great job when they have time to prepare and a situation pops up. They've done a great job putting the players that they have in position to succeed and have success. And that's what Bailey Zappi did. He did a great job. He executed what the game plan that the coaches came up with was. Defense did what they needed to do. They needed to create some turnovers, and that's what they did. And they held this team to 0 points, which is a lot better than any of us would have expected, I would say. But overall, just a great team performance, great team win. And just kind of harping on what Mike said again, proud of the coaches and the players for what they pulled off today. It was a good win.
Yeah, and the real Bravis says this game's proof Patricia's offense can work. I feel like Mac just overthinks things, whereas Zappi just takes what's given him before making a play. I think there's definitely truth to this. I have been more impressed with Patricia's play calling the last couple weeks than what it started out to be, and I think it will just continue to get better. Now, with that being said, I still do think that this was a very dumbed down offense for Bailey Zappi, and they did not make it too complicated. They didn't make him get to his third reads too often. They were giving him, options to read just one side of the field. If it was man or zone, they're giving him a man beater on one side and a zone beater. So he just had to read the coverage. And then it helps when you have a veteran center like David Andrews, who can really help, flip protections, and he doesn't have to take too much of that. So I was definitely impressed with Matt Patricia's play calling and Bailey Zappi just being patient and taking what was given to him. But I still think this is a dumbed down offense, and there were still explosive plays out there. Like you look at, there were still times that the Patriots were able to push the ball down the field, and you found guys open, and they were able to catch and run and make things happen with the ball in their hands. So great job by the coaches, by the offense, and executing, coming in with a plan and sticking to it. They didn't. Now, it helps when you get up early and you have a defensive touchdown. You don't feel like you need to press the ball down the field consistently, but they did what they needed to do. They moved the sticks. That second drive after the Jack Jones interception, when they go down the field, and, we haven't seen our offense do that with Mac Jones most of the time this year, and they move it down the field, and then I think they end up kicking a field goal and make it 6-0 right there. So, got chunk yardage plays and they moved the ball consistently. It was impressive to see the offense do that.
Yeah, and Cody says here, I mean, this was a pretty conservative game plan. I wouldn't disagree with that, and that's what I would expect for a third-string rookie quarterback who we drafted this year in the 4th round. That's what I would expect for that. It's his first career start. I wouldn't expect an aggressive game plan where we're really chucking it down the field. He threw some balls. He threw a couple up to Devontae that he drew some pass interference calls on, which were good, but I just felt like what he executed from 0 to 15 yards within the line of scrimmage, he worked in that range, and our playmakers made some plays. A couple of guys had a couple mistakes, but overall, it's hard to be mad at a game performance like this from the entire team, even if it is a conservative offense. Cody says they threw 3 passes in the red zone. Kieran says play calling was good until we hit the red zone. And then Cody says training wheels offense. I mean, he's a 4th round rookie quarterback making his first start. He's going to have the training wheels on, and I have no problem with that. If he has the training wheels on and we win 29-0, I don't care. You know what I mean? If he has the training wheels on and we lose 29 to set 3 or 10 or whatever, then okay, maybe you need to be more aggressive and take some more chances. But it all depends how the game goes. You can't really say until you see something like that. But was it conservative? A little bit. Did he take some shots and some risks? Yes, he did. And did they work out for the most part? Yes. I thought he did a great job. I thought there was nothing I couldn't have expected any more from Zappy than what he did today. Not that he was out there being Josh Allen and making crazy plays, but he did what he needed to do. He was the bus driver today. He drove the bus. He didn't run any kids over. He got them from point A to point B and did what he needed to do. So I'm happy with the performance.
Yeah, and the other thing is, it helps no matter how experienced of a quarterback you are or who you are when you have 176 rushing yards on 35 attempts and 5 yards per rush. That will help any quarterback there is. So the running game did a great job at sticking or staying ahead of the sticks on first down. They made it into second and third and manageables, and it was very easy for Bailey Zappi. It helped set up the play action passes on a lot of his easy throws. So that's something that we haven't seen with Mac either. Like, they haven't been play actioning a ton with Mac Jones. And is it because the run game hasn't really been super effective until today? Maybe, but they haven't been doing that. And I think that that's been the Patriots' bread and butter. That's something that Mac Jones is really good at. And they have not done that, but you saw it a little bit more today, and it created easy pitch and catches for the tight ends, the receivers. So hope that the running game continues to stay at the dominance it was. And obviously that will depend on Damian Harris's injury, which we'll get into a little bit more. But when Ramondre's running like he was running for over 6 yards a carry and has 161 rushing yards, and then you add a healthy Damian Harris into the mix, it's a scary rushing attack like we saw last year, and then it just opens up more and more things in the passing game. So that rushing attack helps any quarterback, let alone a fourth rounder that's making his first start in Bailey Zappi.
And I think you also just have to mention, to be fair, that the Lions were extremely beat up. I mean, every time the ball was snapped, somebody was going to the sideline for them after. It happened some games. That's what happened. It is what it is. The red zone was an issue. They kind of slowed down. They bogged down. Nick Folk, I think, was 5 for 5 on field goals and 2 for 2 on extra points. So he had a great day. He's been Mr. Reliable all season long. He's been great. So as far as the incredible game plan thing, hand the ball off. The offensive line did what they needed to do. Defense did what they needed to do. Holding any team to 0 points in the NFL, especially the number one scoring offense, I know they've had somewhat of an easy schedule as far as defenses go, but they've had some games where they've scored points on good teams. And I think if you hold a team to 0 points, it's hard to say it's not a good game plan if they didn't execute well. So I would agree and disagree a little bit there with you, Cody. Rune Dog says, yo, what's up, Rune Dog? But let's get right into it. Let's get into the good, bad, injured. Who was the first guy you had on your list for this Patriots game?
Yeah, and we'll talk about this, and we already did talk about it. Ramondre Stevenson, the guy that, kept this offense going right here, and really 25 carries, 161 yards, and he was the workhorse back, and I think it gives Patriots fans some confidence if if Damian Harris does leave in the offseason, Ramondre Stevenson will be the lead back, and they'll probably work in Pierre Strong. It would have been nice to have another running back active today, so when Damian Harris did go down, you don't have to rely so heavily on Ramondre. But when he's getting 20 plus carries and he's running like he was today, he's a great running back, and I think it gives us Patriots fans confidence that he can be a true number one running back in the upcoming years. And then you just got to start getting Pierre Strong, Kevin Harris, guys like that ready to be kind of a backup and spell him. So Ramondre Stevenson, this is the game that we've been waiting for all year, and him and Damian Harris have been splitting snaps pretty closely, and it was looking like that early, but then once Damian Harris gets hurt, it changes the whole complexion of it. And he did it, in the running game, it set up, he had only a couple catches. In the passing game, he had 14 yards, but he had 175 total yards. That's a heck of a day, and that's going to be a big time key moving forward for this offense.
I mean, Ramondre got his opportunity to take 100% of the carries, and boy, did he run with it. He is so elusive. I mean, he juked people out of their shoes, was spinning after. I mean, he just creates plays. He's just a playmaker. When he gets the ball in his hands, he just does special things with it. And he's hard to bring down. He's hard to tackle in open space. He makes plays. That's what he does. And I have a lot of confidence in Ramondre. Belichick was talking very highly. Seemed like he was in a good mood in this press conference today. I don't know why he wouldn't be, but he was talking about, I think he said, I love Ramondre. I'm very glad we have him, something along those lines. So Ramondre is a beast. He had a great game. This offensive line had a really good game in general. But even when they didn't block well for him, it seemed like he always, every time he touches the ball, he creates more yards than you would expect. Like he'd get hit behind the line of scrimmage, he'd break a tackle and at least get it back to the line of scrimmage or get a yard or two. It's just little things like that that other running backs can't do. It seems like he can do. So that gives me a ton of confidence for him being here long term and what he can do being the lead back going forward if Damian is gone this offseason or if he has an injury that is long term at all. I have a lot of confidence in Ramondre and what he can do. So I thought he had a great day. But next guy I'm going to put on this list, Roondog says it here, Jack Jones. He has been great. He has been really great. And we've talked about him being aggressive and it possibly biting him in the butt at some point. He's been good so far. He's been making plays and he is a ball hawk. I mean, people have already been showing stats comparing him to what JC Jackson's doing this year and what he's doing. I mean, that's a stretch, obviously. He's a rookie, but he has been really impressive and you can't complain about what he's done. He's always sticky in coverage. You always see him around the ball. He has a nose for the football. I get the trait comparisons with JC Jackson, along with some of the things that he does well. He's a ball hawk. He finds the football, he catches it. He made a great play on the sideline for that interception. Got both feet in bounds, great balance, great awareness of where the line was there. Great read on the football, great jump. I mean, he has tremendous talent and explosiveness. He gets out of a break like that and just shoots to the football. And maybe it'll bite him eventually, but as of right now, he's playing really good football. He's helping this team out, and he's helping us win the turnover battle, and he's making some game-changing plays. So, got to give Jack Jones props there. He had another great game.
Yeah, he's exactly what this defense needed when we lost JC Jackson, and we said, who's going to step up? We had confidence in Jalen Mills, maybe not as a true number one cornerback, consistently stopping wide receiver number ones like Stephon Diggs, but Jack Jones has come in and been great his first 5 games, and I only expect him to get better. Like he might not play at this elite level consistently like he is, but his baseline is just getting higher and higher and higher, and he's going to get better and better and better, and he really could be a number 1 cornerback for us. Jonathan Jones is developing into that, and then that gives you some flexibility moving Jalen Mills around to different positions or keeping him on the outside or putting him in the slot. Like, from where I thought our secondary would be going into the year, it's surpassed my expectations tenfold. It's been way more impressive than I thought it would. And it's a big part of why this defense is clicking on a lot of cylinders and honestly giving us a lot of chances to win football games. So Jack Jones for sure. The other guy, it's up on the screen with the stats. First game back after missing 2, Jacoby Myers, 7 receptions, 111 yards, gets another touchdown. And he had 8 targets, and it doesn't matter if it's with Mac Jones, with Brian Hoyer, with Bailey Zappi, with Cam Newton. He's Mr. Reliable. And I'm starting to think right now that his $3 million, almost $4 million cap hit that he's making this year is only going up and up and up every game. And I hope Bill Belichick's ready to pay him because, yeah, he might not be that elite wide receiver number 1, but this is exactly what every team is looking for, a consistent 6 to 7 to 8 receptions guy a game, and makes the tough catches, makes the jump ball ones, the ones over the middle, makes life easy for a quarterback. This is the legitimate guy that New England's always had in Wes Welker and Julian Edelman, and I think he's only gotten better, and I don't know if many Patriots fans thought that was possible, but he just continues to get better and better and better, and I think that New England needs to be ready to pay him because I don't want to lose him. I think we still need to get a true number 1 wide receiver, but I do not want to lose Jacoby Myers this offseason because he's too expensive. This is a guy that needs to be with Mac Jones.
And maybe that's something Taekwon can develop into eventually is a true number 1. We haven't really seen much from him, obviously, just today. A couple catches there, nothing crazy. But Jacoby needs to be the number 2 on this team for the foreseeable future because I was thinking about that. Every catch he made today, the more and more he does, and as he adds touchdowns to that list of just a million catches and just yards in general, his price is going up, and he wants to be here. He deserves to get paid a good chunk of money. I worry that Belichick's not going to do it, but if he's going to do it for somebody, Jacoby Myers is his type of receiver that he likes. He's reliable, like you said. He takes some big hits over the middle, and he gets right up, and he is hyped up and excited from getting the first down, and he's just I don't know. He's calm on the sidelines. He's calm in the locker room, but he's got a fire in him when he's on the field, and he's great. He's so precise with his routes and his ability to get open so quickly and create easy throws for the quarterback. Like Bailey Zappi had a couple wide open throws to Jacoby that he just toasted the corner and had him lost and was wide open. And that's what you need to do as a receiver in the NFL. That's what you get paid to do. And not a lot of them can do it as well as Jacoby can in the short to intermediate area. And like you said, he can go up and catch some jump balls too, which is something that we don't really expect to be a long-term skill set of his game, but he's been proven that every time he gets an opportunity, he's basically doing it. So Jacoby, great game again. Like you said, 7 catches, 111 yards and a touchdown. Add that to the list against, like we said, it wasn't great DBs, but he's been showing up every week and he's been Mr. Consistent. Third down, he's been the target to go to from either quarterback. So Jacoby, another great game from him. So I had him on my list as well. Next guy for me, Matt Judon. Yeah, I think he had 2 sacks. They came in key situations. He had a strip sack that Kyle Duggar returned for a touchdown. Judon has had a sack in every single game, and he had 2 this game. He's been great. I mean, hopefully this production continues throughout the season and doesn't tail off towards the end. But if he puts up a sack a game and just they're in key situations on a third down and knocks him out of field goal range, does this and that, creates turnovers, he's going to be a huge part of this defense. And he continues to have success week in and week out. Not getting a lot of production from the other side, or at least this week. Dietrich-wise, in general, like against the Ravens, he had a great game. But it would be great to see some guys get some production outside of him. So not all the pressure's on him. But as of this week, he put the backpack on. He did what he needed to do, got a couple sacks, forced a turnover, got us a touchdown. And when your defense is scoring the ball, you're giving yourself a great chance to win the football game. So Matt Judon, another great game.
Yeah, first Patriots player to have 5 sacks through his first 5 games, big time. And the only thing I worry about, and I'm not predicting it, but he started off fast last year, and he was incredible the first 12 games, and then he fell off a cliff. Now, I would still take Matt Judon getting 12.5 sacks, but I want to see him get 12.5 sacks through 12 games and then continue to climb to 16, 17, 18. One of the follower hot takes that I did on my Instagram, someone said that he would get 19 plus sacks and be top 3. That would be incredible. And I think he legitimately has that upside. He is big. He's strong. One of the announcers today on the broadcast, he compared him to Terrell Suggs. He's big, he's strong, he's physical, he's fast, he's got all the tools that you want to be a great edge rusher, and he can hold up in the run game, so you don't have to just bring him off the field on run obvious situations. So Matt Judon is the superstar that this defense needed, and he kind of took a back seat to JC Jackson last year. Now he's the dude. Like Matt Judon, when he's going, he's the guy that makes this defense go, especially the front 7, and it's great to see him go. So that's been a huge blessing for this front 7. So the next one for me, this is going to be kind of a weird one, and I'll actually throw 2 in here. This one's just a quick one, but I'll give it to whoever the heck's controlling Kendrick Bourne's snap count, because finally he gets 33 snaps. That's the second most of receivers today. Jacoby Myers gets 49, Kendrick Bourne 33, Devontae Parker 31, Tyquan 24, Lil Jordan Humphrey 14, Nelson Aguilar 7. So whoever the heck's controlling that, about time they start getting him out there, and you take Nelson Aguilar off the field after a bad drop. I'm sure we'll talk about that here in a minute. And turns into the only interception by Bailey Zappi today. But I think that whoever is doing that, and you saw last week they gave a fly sweep to him. Bailey Zappi tried to throw a quick little screen to him. I don't think it was designed too well. The corner just triggered down. No one was blocking him, and it was like a 1-yard loss on 3rd and 10. But they're at least trying to get the ball to him, and they're getting him more snaps than what we saw the first 1, 2, 3 weeks. So whoever is controlling that, good job. Get Kendrick Bourne on the field. Continue to get him out there, because he's one of the most explosive dudes with the ball in his hands. And then the last one, or the next one that I was going to do was going to be sorry, now I'm scrolling down to find it. Nick Folk, right? Mr. Consistent. And it's not pretty. Like when you look at 29-0, it would be a lot prettier if you had 4 touchdowns by the offense, but he's 5 for 5 on field goals, and that's what you need when you can't put the ball in the end zone like New England struggled to do. Nick Folk's 5 for 5 on field goals, adds 2 PATs. And, it would be a lot worse if he goes 2 for 5 or 3 for 5 or something. Then the score is a lot closer. And maybe Detroit thinks they have a little more hope. So Mr. Consistent by Nick Folk right there, keeping, New England getting points on these possessions. And hopefully they can get more points in touchdowns. But if he's making field goals, that's good.
Yeah, he was on my list as well. And then I'm gonna. Do you have anybody else? I got two more guys. I'm just gonna touch on real
Go ahead.
quick. Maybe not necessarily a spectacular game from one of them, but the other one. So Kyle Duggar was one other guy. Just the picking that up, scoring a touchdown. He had a couple great plays in the backfield tackling. He's one of our most secure tacklers. When he's got an opportunity to make a play behind the line of scrimmage or he's shooting a gap, he's electric out there. So Duggar, I thought he was good in coverage. He broke up a pass to Hawkinson, and just the tackles he made. I thought Duggar was good along with that touchdown he scored. And then Adrian Phillips made a great play in the backfield. I don't see him making mistakes often. He's a great football player, and he impacts this game more than people realize. I think if you turn on the tape, you're going to see AP making a lot of plays and just impacting the game in a positive way. And you can't say that for all the players on the field. You can't say that for everybody. And AP is one of those guys that I think there's a reason he got extended. There's a reason he's going to be here for a couple more years. And I'm glad to have him on this team because he seems to make a play every week that makes you go, whoa, okay, that was a big play. And he's so consistent. You don't see mistakes from him often.
Yeah. One more Cody right here says, how about Cole Strange? I think he only allowed 2 pressures. Go for the whole offense. Bailey Zappi was very comfortable back there, and I think he had really good movement in the pocket. I wouldn't give a great to Bailey Zappi, but he was good. Like, he was good enough for the Patriots to win.
I'm willing to give him a good because he didn't lose us the game, and he was way better than I could have expected.
Yes.
He was really good for expectations.
His movement in the pocket, he stepped up, he made some big time throws, and that was because the offensive line, they didn't have any sacks. Now, I can think of one where he got hit and brought down, but I think there was a penalty on that one, illegal hands to the face or something. So it doesn't count as a sack. So yeah, he got hit once, coming off of, I think it was the left side. So it would have been Trent Brown, Cole Strange, but that's another thing that makes it life easy on any quarterback, let alone a rookie is when you don't have to deal with anyone just pumping down your face and drilling you time after time, or you're trying to throw with dudes in your face. It makes it a lot easier. So the whole offensive line for me was good. No sacks. Why can't they do that for Mac Jones? Like, I feel like Mac, and I get it, they're playing a lot worse defensive line than they had been in a couple of the early games, but come on, guys, like, let's give Mac Jones some time like this and see what he can do. So offensive line for me was good. Yeah, Cole Strange has been great all year. So yeah.
I agree with you there. And then we got to move on to the bad. Obviously, not a lot here. One of those guys, I'd say Nelson Aguilar. Just the last thing you can do is slap a football 700 feet into the air and let the defense get their hands on it. You can't. If you want to spike it into the ground, whatever, but you can't slap the ball into the air and give them a chance to get it. You got to hang on to that, and you just have to. And it's been a few weeks in a row now where he's making a negative play for this offense and fumbling the football, tipping up in the air for a pick, just stuff you can't do. You just can't do it. So Aguilar's got to end up on this list, one of the few people on here.
Yeah, and then another bad for me, I've already seen some comments coming at it, but New England's already bottom 10 in the league in touchdowns in the red zone. They go 0 for 4 today. This game could have been 40-plus points. New England could have hung 40 on Detroit, and, it would have been even that much more impressive. And Bailey Zappi, maybe could have had 2 touchdowns. And I do think they got a little conservative in the red zone, but when you get in the red zone, you got to execute at a higher level. Go 2 for 4. I've said this before. The team that I coach on, defense wants to hold them under 45% touchdowns in the red zone. The offense wants to get 60% touchdowns in the red zone. So to reach that goal, they would have had to have gotten 3 touchdowns out of the 4 times there in the red zone. But I didn't mention this in the good, but on the flip side, Detroit goes 0 for 3 in the red zone. And then New England also holds them for 0 for 6 on 4th down.
That was what I was just going to say. That was a good I forgot.
Yeah.
New England defense, I think that's worth mentioning a little bit more, is just 0 for 6 on 4th down. Detroit could have scored multiple times, but they kept going for it early, and then they had to go for it late in the game because they were trailing by so much. But it was a bunch of 4th and 1s, 4th and 2, I think one like 4th and 9 in there as well. But it was great defense in key situations, stopping a really good offensive line and a great run game. Jamal had a great game last week when he got all the touches. And this offensive line is one of the best in the league for Detroit, which is weird to say, but they are. And this defense in short yardage, key situations on fourth down, they stuffed them and they made a ton of plays to win us this football game. So I think the 0 for 6 on fourth down from the Lions, I don't think that should be understated. That should be at the top of the good list. I forgot to mention that. That was one of the things that I had wrote down to mention, but it just spaced on it. But that's one of the huge keys to the game was what the defense was able to do on fourth down and hold them to 0 for 6. So
Yeah, and before today, New England has their defense is the fifth highest third down conversion percentage. So they're allowing about 46% of opponent third downs, and they go 4 for 12 on third down, so 33%. Let alone they go 0 for 6. They got off the field in third and fourth down situations, and that was a big turning point in the game because extending drives, getting more plays, getting the defense tired, taking the ball to the offense's hands. So that was a good for me. I know we're kind of backtracking. That's going off of the bad for me for 0 for 4 in the red zone by the Patriot offense, but the defense does their part to kind of counteract that. So
yeah, this was this quote I was trying to find from Cody here when I was talking about Belichick said about Ramondre. I'm glad we have Ramondre. Love him. So Belichick with some high praise for Ramondre there. But Carlos says Patriots insider Justin Ramos said Hutchinson would have a field day today. Oh boy. All right. So is any other bads that you want to touch on specifically? I have one more that.
You can go ahead and share. I don't think I have many more.
Last guy I had, and this is kind of weird because I'm happy he got more snaps, and I think he should get more snaps every week. But KB, I have to throw on there. Was such a good game in general. You got to kind of be a little picky with some of these picks. And Kendrick Bourne had a few penalties, and he had 1 catch for 1 yard and 1 rush for -1 yard. So he had 0 yards on 2 touches, basically. Could you argue he should have got more targets? Probably. KB is good with the ball in his hands, but couple penalties that knocked us back, and that's not ideal. Anytime somebody has multiple penalties, especially as a wide receiver, and it's just mental stuff like pre-play stuff, that's not ideal. So I have to throw KB on there, even though I don't want to. I'm a big fan of his, but I feel like that's worth mentioning as far as the short list of bad goes here.
Yeah, I don't have too many more. I thought first half run defense was getting a little scary there. I thought that they were getting a little too much rushing yards, but we held them to 101 rushing yards total and 3.7 per rushing attempt. So rushing was not bad. I think there were a couple times where it got a little hairy, but New England's defense strapped down and locked it in. So that's it for me though. Unless you got anything else.
Room dog here. Maybe Hunter Henry works without Jonnu. This was 4 catches, 54 yards. This is the most involved we've seen Hunter Henry all season so far. It's funny how all the things that we're harping on, all of a sudden Mac goes out and now the offense has to hyper focus on being really good, and they stop making penalties. They're blocking better. Hunter Henry is getting involved. Some of the other guys are getting involved. I don't know if it just is because of time that's passing and the offense is starting to get into a rhythm or what, but it's weird. Hunter Henry was one guy that we made a lot of plays last year. He made some good plays here. Zappi was looking for him on a decent amount of occasions. So that was one thing I wanted to point out as well. Carlos says, what did you guys think of the coach's decision not to play strong, considering we were going to run 90% of the time today? I think Jace mentioned it earlier, just about he was surprised we didn't activate another running back, and he would have been the guy that I would have assumed we put here. But Dame and Ramondre have been able to carry the load extremely well, but you never know, especially when you want to run the ball heavy. I was a little surprised that they carried 6 wide receivers instead of
I have no clue who this is, unless this is someone I know personally that changed their names and being an imposter of me. But thank you for the support, Hugh Parker. I appreciate that.
Oh boy,
I have no clue who that is.
But yeah, so if one of those guys got hurt, which Damian Harris did, then obviously you wish you had somebody else there in case Ramondre got hurt as well. So, but they carried 6 wide receivers. If you're carrying 6 wide receivers, you can't really have 3 or 4 backs. So that was a little surprising that they carried that many receivers and not an extra back, especially with the game plan.
Yeah, and I would have liked to have seen Pierre Strong get. I would have loved it if, obviously, no one wants to predict Damian Harris gets hurt, and no one does predict that. That's probably why they say, oh, we don't need to activate Pierre Strong. But if Pierre Strong was activated, I would have loved to have seen him get 5, 6, 7 carries and then keep Ramondre at 18, 19, 20. But I'm not saying that you'd go away from Ramondre because he was being effective and he was working. But I would have loved to have seen Pierre Strong at least get his feet wet in a game where it's out of control. And he could have, had his way with a run defense that was not stopping anyone. So that would have been something that would have been super exciting to see. And maybe he comes in and he rips one off with his elusiveness and explosion and ability to make guys miss. So that would have been awesome. But we'll put that one on delay. And maybe he does get activated. If Damian Harris is not able to go next week against Cleveland, then maybe it's going to be Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson and Pierre Strong, and that will be exciting to see too.
Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like anytime Ramondre's in the game and he's getting a handoff, it just seems like he gets more in a rhythm and is in a better flow than Damian Harris. Even though Dame isn't bad and he has some great runs and is pretty consistent, just I feel like Damian Harris gets stuffed to the line more times than Ramondre does. I don't know if it's because Ramondre is getting better blocking or if he's just better at breaking tackles and creating space. It seems like he does more with less, if you get what I'm saying there. So Cody says Henry was good with Jonnu last year, though. Like what? Yeah, no, I don't think it's a Hunter Henry and Jonnu on the field taking things away from Hunter Henry. Excuse me. He was great last year. I just think he hasn't got the targets this year, and I don't know. I don't know why Zappy was targeting him and Mac Jones hasn't yet. I don't know if it was part of the game plan to get him more involved. I'm not sure, but Henry was one of our best assets last year, especially in the red zone. He was a monster. So hopefully this is just a trend that continues to go up and he gets more targets. And as we get into that red zone, we're going to need him to be there helping us out with guys like Devontae Parker and the running back. So good sign to get him involved, get him some catches, get his feet wet. And hopefully this is something that we can see progress as the season goes on.
Yeah. One thing before we get into the injured report, just going through this, we talk about how New England's offense hasn't been explosive for a while, and I still don't think that they're super explosive, and they don't worry many defenses. But through 5 games, New England has 3 100-yard receivers. Well, actually, they have 4, right? Because they had 2 in one game. But anyways, Aguilar, Parker, Myers have all gone for 100 yards already, and that was they didn't have a 100-yard receiver all of last year, and I think the last one that they had was in 2020 with Cam Newton. So this offense, it has not been as good as people have wanted it to be and as people think it should be, but they're still putting up 100-yard receivers, and we still feel like that it's being handcuffed and held back. So I'm excited to see this team. Well, obviously, once Matt gets back, and we'll see when that is, Tyquan Thornton gets going to Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, everyone gets healthy. I'm excited to see this team coming off the bye week and then going through those last 7 games, see where the offense is, see how they're clicking, see how different the game plan looks and how comfortable it is. Because by that time, they'll know, hey, this is our strength and this is what we want to do in this situation. Right now, I still think they're experimenting. You've only played 5 games of 17. You still have 12 games left, and you're not even sitting here thinking like, oh, this is what we're going to do every game. And obviously it changes game plan to game plan, but you probably don't even have 100% grasp of what you want your identity to be. You're starting to form it. You know what works for you. Oh yeah, maybe gap scheme's working a little bit more than we thought it would compared to the zone scheme that we were trying to bring over the Shanahan offense. But we will know probably after the bye week, once everyone's healthy, what this offense wants to do and what they're going to hang their hat on. And I'm excited to see that because I think that this offense still has a ton of room to grow and get better individually and collectively as a group. So,
yeah, no, I agree with you there. We'll kind of wrap this up with the injured here. Damian Harris left the game early. I think it was in the first quarter. Hamstring injury. He was questionable to return later, got ruled out. He was out. That would be something to monitor. Hamstrings linger sometimes too, so they'll probably want to be careful with that as we play Cleveland next week on Sunday. Jalen Mills got banged up a little bit later towards the end of the game. And he walked off the field. After that, he collided with his teammate by the sideline. Nothing there on him that I've seen as an update. Do you see anybody else do you have any other injury updates for anybody else that you saw go off? I don't remember seeing anybody specific.
I can't.
Carlos says what happened to John Jones. I didn't see anything. Did you?
I didn't.
I haven't seen anything else on anybody else. John Jones. Just from what I saw with my own eyes, what I noticed was Damian Harris and then
those are the only 2 I had too.
Jalen Mills. So yeah, that's kind of all we got for injury updates, and obviously Wednesday show. If there's anything else, we'll know more about it there, and we'll be able to provide you guys with updates.
Yeah, and it's good that we're starting to get healthy again. Mac Jones is the big one. We see Tyquan Thornton come back. He'll be a big boost, and I still think that he's getting integrated to the offense. He only started practicing. When was his first practice? Wednesday? Or would it have been Thursday after we went live?
I think it was Wednesday. He was there at practice, but apparently he had a red non-contact or something.
Yeah. So he's there, non-contact, running around. Probably still doesn't even have his football legs under him. And, he's coming out, and they're still trusting him to get 24 snaps. So I'm excited to see him go full go. Damian Harris will be a big key. Mac Jones getting back will be big. Lawrence Guy, some of the defensive guys that still aren't 100%. You might got guys running around out there. Jacoby Myers being back was big. So there's still a lot of guys that can come back and make this team even better and more explosive than what they are. And, that will be exciting to see this offense. So getting healthy and, playing better, a combination of things that is just going to continue to help this team win. And we talked about this. The next 3 games are very winnable for New England. And I think that's no matter who plays at quarterback. Now, obviously we want Mac Jones, but the way the Patriots played today, if they can continue to play that way, it's really not going to matter these next 3 games, because you got some offenses that have been struggling. Cleveland won't have Deshaun Watson. Chicago has their struggles. And then the Jets have their struggles, although they looked, pretty good today. But
Breece Hall with 100 yards on the ground and in the air.
Yeah. So
you'll have bench.
Yep. Mine too. But we'll continue to keep you guys posted, both on our Instagrams, which are on here, on the screen, and then on our live show Wednesday.
Yep. So Wednesday's the next time we'll be live previewing the next game against the Browns, and we'll obviously, like Jay said, keep you guys updated with any injuries and all that stuff. But you got anything else, Jay?
Yeah, the last thing, we do it always on Wednesdays, so make sure you guys are in here. But just throw out our sponsorship real quick. Underdog Fantasy, you can either download the app on the App Store or go to underdogfantasy.com. The first deposit that you make when you use code PATSDRIVE, which is on the screen, or you can click the link in our bio, they match it. You deposit $20, you get a free $20. You deposit $100, you get a free $100 to bet. We're going to do a lot more with this. We've talked about doing weekly fantasies where it's 5 people and you draft just for a week, and then whoever wins, winner takes the pot. Or you can bet on 5-leg parlays and you can triple your money. So if you guys like sports betting, the cool thing about this is it's not like a sports book. It's legal in like 41 of the 50 states. So most likely you guys will be able to do it. Just sign up, use code PATSDRIVE, and then help support our channel, help support Underdog too. It's kind of a cool, unique thing that they're doing. That's not, a sports book. So it's fun to help them out and work with them. So encourage you guys to do that, and then like, subscribe, comment on the video for sure. And hopefully we see you guys for the pregame show.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys haven't already, like the video, we're 2 likes away from 20. Just if you guys haven't already, just get us there. If you enjoy the content, tell a friend. Keep watching, keep coming back, commenting, engaging. We appreciate all the support you guys have been giving us. So big win for the Pats against the Lions. Hopefully they can follow it up with a great performance next Sunday against the Browns. And we'll be here Wednesday night to preview that, guys. Preview that for you guys. So thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Patriots Drive podcast. Follow us on social media to stay up to date with all things New England Patriots. Make sure you tune in to the next episode and check out patriotsdrive.com for more great content.
We're on to Cincinnati.